Well, it is officially the day of the tournament. I actually got a good amount of sleep last night, which is fantastic. I think after all the playtesting yesterday, I was just mentally wore out. I was there for like 4 or 5 hours, and it was just a big toll on me. Right now, I've got a few hours until I meet Jimmy and the guys to drive down to Pensacola. Yeah, I need to go ahead and make sure I have everything. I've got a new playmat that I got a while back that I kind of want to play in this tournament. I think the Spike Brothers one I'm just going to use for mainly deck profiles and stuff like that. I just need a mat that I exclusively play just for tournaments. So it's pretty cool I got that. We'll go ahead and hop into a quick little deck list thing just so I can kind of verify what we're playing. Have some clearance there. And then, yeah, we'll get ready to go and get down to Pensacola. Also, if y'all guys are interested, besides Tachi stuff, I also have Link Joker Messiah, Grand Blue 7 Seas, Hamsuke, and Murakumo Yasue. Currently, I'm trying to kind of get rid of actually either 7 Seas or Murakumo, just because, you know, back when I played Vanguard, my main 3 clans were Link, Joker, Great Nature, and Tachikaze. And I want to get back to those. I know we're getting a new grade 3 for hamsters, but I'm also currently building Big Billy as well. So just thought I'd let you guys know that. Starter, per the usual. We got our 4 copies of Anger Blader. That's just pretty normal. Chose not to sub any other grade 3s for now. 4 Sweeper. This is honestly just a must. It's a staple in the deck. We are choosing to keep the 3 Delifa Pyro. I think the card's really strong. It helps the consistency of building our gauge early on and also helping us find our pieces. We're running 4 Turbo Smilodon. This would be a card I would potentially buff down, but for now I feel like keeping it at 4 just because it's just such a powerful card, and it really helps us out a lot. We have 3 of the Megarex. This might be where I actually sub in 1 Smilodon for another Megarex, just because it can get gauge, it can get power, it can help us draw. It's a good card. It helps with our consistency. That's it for the grade 2s. Grade 1s, of course, we're running our 4 grade 3 Searcher. We want to see these in our opening hand if we don't have an Anger. If not, we want to see them as soon as possible. They're super strong. They're also good gauge targets because of its skill. We're running 3 of the Savage Trooper. This is kind of just one of those other cards that benefits from having gauge. We want those in our deck. I don't think I'll play it at a 4-of just because it's not as good as Sweeper Akrakanto, but it's still a good backup, and I always like to see those. We're running 3 of the Rorabura. This would be a card I would potentially like to see at 4 eventually, but it just helps us on our Anger Blader turns, giving power to stuff that can't get its own power. I think it's super strong, and I really like the card. And then we are running 3 Zendalofo. Zendalofo's super crazy. I talked about him in my deck profile a little bit. I really think this card's really great. Just, you know, being able to rest them, give a gauge that you can kill them with Anger, or, you know, you've got 8 or 9 gauge on a Savage Trooper, and you finally draw into your Sweeper Akrakanto. Well, now you can transfer all the gauge over. It's just a good card. It helps in the deck with manipulating our gauge. And then finally for the grade 1s, we're running 2 Sonic Noah. I feel comfortable with it being at 2. I feel like if there were any more, it would be kind of stupid. You really only want this behind like 1 rear guard. You need open circles to call stuff down. This is really strong against a Savage Trooper or Sweeper Akrakanto, just something to give it gauge. And also its second skill, if we haven't seen cards early on, we can call down a draw trigger or something not as valuable to us, and then kill it off with this and draw a card. Just helping with consistency. We are running 6 crit, 6 draw, and of course our 4 heal. We're meeting Jimmy at 4 with the rest of the guys, driving down to Pensacola, and then we will have a little bit of time before the tournament actually starts to go ahead and try to get a few games in, just practice a little bit more. So yeah, I will take our guys with me, and we'll see you then. Jimmy, say again. Again, this is your second Christmas sweater. Whoa, that's a lot of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas sweaters.
Oh no. We'll see him when we get there, boys. So yeah, going into game one, we optimally wanted to go first against Blouse. My buddy James is playing Blouse here. We end up tying the die roll, which was pretty crazy to see. Regardless, he ended up winning, and so we were forced to try and make it playable. So he's going into Plow. Panzer here. He went into this a lot. Our turn, we go into Zandalofo, not optimal ride, but we'll take it. We grab a quick shield and we swing it for 8. And yeah, he checks a defensive draw. So early game, he's got a ton of hand. Goes into the grade 2 Blau, starts swinging at us. Here, I think we take, so we make it a 1 to pass, and he hits a hill trigger of all things. So end up taking it. We check a Prism Bird. This whole game felt like it was just like an uphill battle, honestly. So he ended up swinging, and we were forced to take it. Hitting that defensive would have been nice, but just super unfortunate. So we take it, and there's Zandalofo. Grade 2 turn, we hit the combo we wanted to. The Lawful Pyro into our sweeper. So we get the gauge down on the sweeper, and sadly that gauge is an Anger Blader. So we drop a Sonic Noah down and a Mega Rex and try to make a board of it. Back on his turn, he swings into our Mega Rex. We choose to let him have it, showing there was a hill in the gauge. He's going to swing in with Van, and we're going to choose to take this because we obviously know he's going to re-ride. And so he checks a front, which is already just bad for us. And we damage check an Anger Blader. So I don't know how the game could have got any worse from there, except we had a G assist. And we didn't see Anger, so we just decided to scoop. Having one in the gauge and having one in the damage zone is just not something we want to see. Game 2, we choose to go first, of course. Open Sonic Noah as a ride target. We don't really like that, but we'll definitely take it because we actually grade suck in our hand. Grade 1 turn, he's obviously opening up again. Grade 2 turn for us, we actually hit off that combo again. Just the one that we love, the Lawful Pyro onto that sweeper. We go for the grade 3 searcher because we don't have an Anger in our hand, and we actually see one here. So all around, that was a great grade 2 turn for us. He hits a defensive draw, and we actually hit a crit here, which is really great because that means that sweeper is now swinging for 39, which is just a massive number. So we swing for 39, debates it, and yeah, he just chooses to take it. So 1 to 4, it's nice. He also checks the front, which is even better for us. So yeah, we're feeling really good. He opens up on his, misses a check. He was going for Smilodon, trying to kill him. We just choose to let him live because we don't have any other way of consistently getting more gauge out. Draw up, and I don't remember quite what I do here. Let's see. I think I might go for a Noah. Yeah, so I go for a Sonic Noah. He's at 4 damage. I want to try and get there this turn, but not having the counterblast sucks. So we go on the War Aurora, and we go ahead and give it to the Smilodon, giving him some more power. We end up hitting a draw because he made it a 1 to pass, putting him at 5. Doesn't check a defensive. Swinging with Anger. I think that's 34.
Yeah, it's 34, and we forced a PG out of his hand, which is kind of big for us. Anytime we can get a PG out of their hand, we like to see that. So we defensively check a crit. That's big for us. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. I ask him how many cards are in his hand. He tells me 6, and then he remembers he has a skill. He uses the skill to bounce that grade 3 back to his hand, but that's still only 6 cards he can guard with. Call Megarex. I just decide I want to go all out, get as much gauge on the field as I can, try to pop some of his units. I end up, I think, sacking a Prison Bird here, and then powering up that Megarex. Yeah, so sack that. He's thinking about intercepting, but I think he realizes that that sweeper's ginormous and it's going to swing twice. So unless he has 2 PGs for that and then something to guard for anger, he's got to take it, even with the intercept. So he takes it and no heal. So we're on to a game 3. I feel like that game went fairly well for us, honestly. So we open up Prison Bird. Gotta find the Anger Blader. Of course, he wants to go first. Figured out Blau's like to go first too in this matchup, and we see the Anger. So that's always something we want to see. And yeah. So back to us. He didn't do too much on his turn. We hit off that combo a third time. So the entire round, we hit the grade 2 combo, Dolafa Pyro, straight into Sweeper. Every single game. It felt great. Call down the cat, swing at his rear. Yeah, that's just what we like to see. Swing with Dolafa Pyro. We check a heal, which is great. So we're at 1 damage. He's at 3, and our Sweeper's swinging for 39. So that's what we want to see. And I'm feeling really good. You know, he's about to go to 4 damage, and then he heals. So I guess that's what we get for that. On his turn, he's swinging into Sweeper, which I don't like. I've got to keep him alive. I think that's the only one I have in my hand. So he just chooses to pass to us. Gonna go ahead and ride that Anger Blader. Get our marker. Draw a card. Here, I know I want to retire some of his board. Yeah, so I go for the Dolafa Pyro. Counterblast to the 1. I think I call down a Smilodon. I tried to draw. I used this skill just to see if I could draw into another Sweeper or a Savage Trooper, which I did not. So I had to end up calling down Smilodon, and then I ended up killing him to pop one of his guys. Put him to 5, and he hit a defensive, so that other guy couldn't hit, which kind of sucked. But this is where I made some major misplays. And you'll see what's going to happen here. So we're at 2 damage. He's at 5. I'm feeling really good. So here he chooses to swing into us, and we gladly take it. He's going to take that kick. He knows that we're at 9, chooses to swing into it, and I make the huge misplay of guarding this attack. And that's a 15k shield, something that would have came in handy later. And then I choose to block with a 20k shield. And I also have 3 PGs in hand. And literally we end up whiffing all of the other defensives this turn, and we end up having to ditch all of our PGs, and we end up discarding a PG to use a PG. And he ended up having more attacks than we did cards because we chose to guard for the Dolafa Pyro. So yeah, that was the set, and yeah, I felt like it went pretty good. So yeah, game 2, we end up playing against Jimmy, my buddy, and he ends up going first. So riding the grade 1, he said he didn't have a good hand, but he missed the Shiranui, so he's playing Nubas. We play tested this yesterday. Rider grade 1, not a great ride target for us, but we'll still take it. Swing into him, and nothing. Also, sorry about the camera angle. I think my tripod got knocked a little bit, so you can't really see all of the playing field. So yeah, here he makes us drop a card. After some debating, I dropped the quick shield. I know it's giving him a draw, but everything else in my hand just seems a little valuable. So he puts us at 1, swings in again, and draws a card. We choose to take it, and he ends up hitting a heal. So that's not good. Dolafa Pyro into our Sweeper. That's the combo that we used a lot at the tournament, and it felt really good every time we did it. So here we call Kitty Cat, get another gauge on sweeper, call the bird back in the back, and we hit that anger blader. So overall, a really good grade 2 turn. He's at 1 damage, swing with the sweeper. Sadly, he hit a defensive, so it only made it a 15 to block. So easy for him to guard. He wants to guard those sweeper attacks that he can. Ends up calling down 2 more Shiranuis after riding and then grabbing them from the deck. Bounced some stuff back to my hand, dominated my grade 2, and I ended up PGing it. Just because it was the last check, and if he critted me, he won. And he hit the crit, and I PG'd it, so that felt good. We're going into Anger Blader now. We've got some counterblast to work with, and guess what? There comes another sweeper. End up gauging him with the cat. Already know he's going to get to 3. Call Roar Boro to give him 10k on top of his gauge. Swing with the cat, and we check a heal, which is even better, and we choose to give it to the cat. And then we end up checking a draw trigger, giving the other power to the cat. So now he's big. The sweeper's restood, and he had 2 protect markers, so we just went ahead and passed turn to him. I think he only had 3 cards in his hand, and then he drew. Goes ahead and calls on that stupid card. So this is an interesting card. He can Soul Blast 1, and whenever we call a card to guard circle, we cannot call that grade to guard for the rest of the turn. So it's super great for him. We ended up giving him an Anger Blader and drop also, which means he had technically 4 checks. First one comes down, hits a draw, gives the power there. And because he didn't crit me, I was able to PG the last one. If he would have hit a crit, we would have died. So passes back to me. I've got these 2 ginormous sweepers on board. Swing with them and swing with anger, restand. He has 2 PGs in hand that he tells me after game, so he could PG the 2 sweepers, but he has nothing for that attack. And he doesn't heal out of it. So we actually ended up taking game 1. I was super shocked because we actually went second, but he cannot dominate our sweepers. So we end up going second, Prism Bird, going in for the top 5, and guess what? We hit Anger. This is definitely a hard matchup for us. Like I said, if we don't see sweepers, then we're kind of stuck. And there's one in our damage zone. If our sweepers go to drop, he's going to be able to dominate them, have them on his board. We want them on the field because they can't be chosen. So we end up going into Megarex. That is definitely not the right target that we wanted, but it's definitely the one that we had to go with. I end up calling a Savage Trooper. I realized that I don't have a sweeper, and I need to try and just kill him as fast as possible. So goes back into his turn. He ends on a similar board as last time, going into 2 more of the grade 3s, Shiranuis. Ends up checking. We end up checking 1 heal, and we're at 19, so we end up taking it, and we realize, okay, if we heal the sweeper, then he can technically dominate it next turn, so we don't want to do that. And then we hit a 2nd heal, which is just super fantastic. This game, I was like on pins and needles the entire game, because it was a really close one. So here we go into Anger Blader, draw a card. I think I call, Dolafa Pyro, kind of last one. Then we're going to throw Savage Trooper, I believe, onto that Excel circle, and we gauge her. And the thinking I did for this was, okay, I'm at 2. He's a little bit more than that. If we can try and get him kind of high up, he's going to have a choice on what to dominate, because if he dominates the Savage Trooper, he can't give it gauge, and it's only an 8k with 1 drive. So I thought maybe we had a chance. We're at 2, and once again, calls down the guy, and ends up Soul Blasting the 1 to get the skill off. And now we're in trouble, and this leaves us in a situation where we had to do the exact same thing again as, okay, do we let him hit a crit or not? And so we end up hitting a defensive here, and it's simply down to, okay, if he hits a crit, he wins because we can only guard one attack, and after we guard one, we can't guard the other because a P guard is a grade 0. So I'm just like, you know what? No guard. You hit a crit, you win. If he didn't, since he didn't dominate the grade 1, we'll probably end up winning. So he has to hit a critical trigger. And here you'll see I'm like debating, and I'm like, oh, well, it kind of doesn't matter. So I just say, you know what? No guard. And oh wait, no, I guarded the Vanguard, gives the crit and power to the rear, and we have to take it. And we whiffed the heal. So that was a very close game. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out, but it definitely turned out. So we're going into game 3. Of course, I'm going to go first. Don't hit a very good ride target, and according to him, his starting hand wasn't that great, but he ended up drawing into the like a lot of good pieces. So we hit the Dolafa Pyro, but it's not into a sweeper. We were hoping to actually draw off the Dolafa Pyro into a sweeper or a Savage Trooper, just something, but we didn't. So that kind of felt bad. So we pass to him, and we end up guarding for our Smilodon attack because he tried killing it, and I wanted to try and do something on my turn, and I didn't have like any sweepers. I literally saw sweepers first game, and after that I didn't see them again until it was too late. So here we just quickly drive check, nothing. He hits a defensive, and so that Mega Rex Sonic Noah column won't even hit technically because it's not big enough, and we don't have the counterblast to engorge and give it a gauge, which is the whole reason I called down that draw trigger so that I could engorge it. So that doesn't work, so that was just a waste. We end up passing to him, and he builds just this nuts board, and just not feeling too great. Goes to his checks. I end up letting the Smilodon die. I reveal that I had a PG and a heal in there, and then he swings face. I drop a heal. I'm pretty sure this made it a 1 to pass. Yeah, it did. So he hits a crit, chooses to get the crit and power over to his other rear guard, and there we had time called, and so I chose to take it because I needed counterblast to use anger skill, and if I had any chance of potentially getting a draw, it was now. So I threw down sweeper, got him a gauge with the cat, and retired 1, popped that grade 2 for intercept, and I was just like, okay, I need to try and get in there and get some damage on him. I ate through some of his hand, but you know, he is a protect deck. End up swinging sweeper for a big number and melt through one of his protect markers, but he still has another one in hand. So yeah, didn't feel great. Pass over to him. We end up taking it, but we do hit a heal, so we're giving the power to Van, obviously. He's at 3 and I'm at 4 right now, so if we can potentially, because you know, turn 0 started on him. I had turn 1, this is turn 2 he's on, and then I'll have the final turn. So if I can somehow make it a draw, then we're good. Sadly, though, I had enough cards in hand to get him to 1 gauge, not the 3 on our second sweeper. So he just turtled his way through. He had 2 protect markers, I think, in his hand, and a PG as well. So there's 1 protect, there's the PG, and yeah. So nothing we could really do. We didn't hit the heal on the check. If we would have, that would have been game. But yeah, that's it. So we're done. We've got to get home. Whenever I get back, I'll update on how it went. Hey guys, I am finally back home. The tournament was absolutely wild, and I'm actually recording this a few days after the tournament. I got back to Mississippi after all the rounds and editing. I've just been super wore out, and I knew I needed to make this to update y'all guys on how the tournament went, so that's what I'm gonna try doing right now. So for starters, the trip there was just fantastic. It was really great to hang out with the guys. Haven't seen them in a while, so that was just really nice. The rounds actually didn't go terrible for us. I did find a lot of consistency issues, even when we hit the anger, even when we hit the sweeper. We also didn't have the best matchups. Blau was another deck that really wanted to go first turn, and so we were constantly, you know, if I went first, I got kind of where I wanted to be at. If he went first, he got where he needed to be at. And Blaus are just super consistent. They have a lot of great cards in their deck that just makes the combo so consistent turn after turn. We just kind of
didn't find that consistency. In the footage that y'all guys will see, I ended up damaging an Anger Blader, engaging an Anger Blader. Nothing we can do about that. So I just had to scoop that game just off of not being able to hit the Anger Blader. I do think on the way up, I was talking with Jimmy and the other guys, and we definitely think that it's a great idea to put Laser X in the deck just because he's a good gauge target, and if I can't find my sweepers, if I can't find my angers, it's a great other way to get them to my hand so that I can actually play them. So that's always just a super great thing in any deck. Is just more consistency and more consistency, and that's something that we just really need. So I'm definitely thinking about taking him in. If you guys want an updated deck profile or a little bit more in-depth deck profile, I know really all I've uploaded is just running through the cards. If you want to see something that's just a lot more in detail, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to get that to y'all guys. Personally, don't think that Anger Blader is Unga Boonga. I know that there's a lot of speculation after the unrestriction list. You know, he's going to come back in and wreck the format. But the thing is, we have Luard, we have Gurgit, you know, Bermuda's eventually going to get there. We have a lot of great decks that are just so dominant in the current format right now. And I personally don't think that Anger Blader in its current state is going to just overwhelm all those other decks, simply to the fact that it's a piece deck. You know, you have to have your pieces. If you don't hit your pieces, then you end up losing the game. And for that reason, I don't think that it is Unga Boonga. I might be wrong. You know, I know we're getting a clan selection next year and we'll have some support for that, but there's not really any way to know just how much support they're going to give to us until we actually see the reveal of the cards. Also wanted a personal opinion on if y'all guys actually like the voiceovers over the matches. I thought that would be a good idea just because there's a lot of audio in the shop and a lot of just background noise, and I thought it would be better to just give more of a highlight reel of just how the rounds went, important things to note about it. That way that I don't waste your time in the videos. I also, at the tournament, was able to pick up everything I needed for Big Belly. I am currently only missing 2 copies of Big Belly himself, and the deck's completely done. But Hemskay is now fully built. So if y'all guys would like to see a deck profile on, you know, Big Belly, Hemskay, you know, any of my other decks, just leave a comment down below. I also have True Ancient Dinos fully built now, and I feel really confident in the list that I made for that deck. So if y'all guys would like to see that, I might upload it just because, but if y'all guys would like to see that, please let me know down in the comments below. On top of that, I have several friends at my community that play a lot of different decks. You know, Jimmy's playing Nubas, my buddy Dylan's playing Murakumo. I have a friend Nicholas who's now playing Gurgit and Angels and Genesis and just all this crazy stuff. So if y'all guys would like to see deck profiles by them, definitely let me know. We can try and I can try and film them and see kind of what they're playing and how they're playing it, because they know a lot more about those decks than I ever will. And I thought it would be really cool to try and get them in here and kind of let them explain their decks and their clans and, you know, how they play through their matchups. Regardless of that, I probably won't have another tournament vlog uploaded for a little while. I'm on Christmas break, as I said in my first video, from college right now, so the holidays are coming around and I've got a lot of stuff to do. I definitely will still try and make some deck profile videos and some things like that, but as far as tournament setting videos go, it will probably not be until January when I finally get back on campus, where I'll be able to actually get back to that. That doesn't mean that I won't be uploading as much. If you guys want to stay posted, definitely subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell for when I do make my videos, and probably most importantly, I would really appreciate y'all guys giving me some comments in the sections below. I'm new to video editing, just letting me know what y'all guys like, what you don't like, how the video can improve, and thus forth. So yeah, I appreciate y'all guys, and until next time, see you later.